Hey, back. All right, we're gonna nail this down right now. We're gonna really get this going. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this network, and the goal is to subnet it into 1, 2, 3 networks, right? So we want to take this network, right, 200.168.6.0 network with a Class C net mask 255.255.255.0, which is also called a /24 net mask. And what we want to do is we want to make it so that we can take this 6 network and turn it into 3 networks. Okay? You guys with me on that? 3 or more. All right? We'll probably have to turn it into, let's see here, 4 networks. That's what we'll probably do. Because we need 3. Because in our network over here, this is our network picture, we've got 3 routers and 3 networks, right? And we've got 3 networks to attend for. And actually, in this picture, if we've got a network over here, right, and then we have 2 routers connected to each other, that's a network right there, and then a network over here, right, that's a network over there, and then a network in between these 2 routers, and then a network over here. So that's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 networks, right, that we have to account for. In other words, if you've got a router connected to a router, right, and then on the other side of this router is a network, and the other side of this router is a network, right? How many networks do you have? Well, you have the network that's created over here, let's say this local area network right here, and you've got this local area network over here, but also the connection between the 2 routers is also a local area network, right? So in this case, we have 3 networks. In this scenario, where we have 3 routers, 1, 2, 3, there's actually 5 networks depicted there. We're going to make it work for that scenario. But first of all, before we break this network down into subnets, I'm going to say, how does a router even function like this? In other words, if a router gets an IP address like 200.168.6.101, what the router's job is to route to, if the packet wants to go to this address, right? So the destination is 200.168.6.101. The router's job is to take this IP address and combine it with the subnet mask or the net mask to find out which network where is this packet going to go. Now, if we look at this and we see that this is 255.255.255, and we know that the 255s represent the network portion, and we know that the 0 represents the host portion, we already know that the network is 200.168.6.0. We already know that. But how does the router figure it out? How does the router figure out that this is the network? So we're going to go over that right now. It's process. And once we go over it, I think it'll help you out in understanding how subnetting works. This is really important to understanding subnet. Okay. Well, first of all, we've got to write this whole thing out in binary. So let's do that right now. Let's write this whole thing out in binary, the IP address and the subnet mask. Okay, so in binary, 200. All right, let's see here. 1, 1. That's the 128-bit, the 64-bit, right? What does that make? 128 plus 64, 192. Right, that's 192. And then a 0, and then a 0, and then a 1. That's 200. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? And then 168 is a 1, and then a 0, and then a 1. That's a 128-bit. Nothing for a 64-bit. That's a 32-bit. 128 plus 32 is 160. The 16-bit, no. The 8-bit, yes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. All right, so there's the 168. That's 200. That's 168. Now we got to get the rest. I'm running out of space here. 6. That'll be easier. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 8-bit over here. That's a 0. Here's the 4-bit. That's a 1. 2-bit, that's a 1. And the 1-bit, that's a 0. Right? So that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is the 6. And then you got to get the 101. And I'm running out of space here, so that's problematic. So let me kind of just put it over here. The 101. Shoot. Let's see here. Haha. 0 for the 128, 1 for the 64, 1 for the 32. So 0, 1, 1. 64 plus 32 is 96. Right? 0 here for the 16. And if we add 8 plus 96, that's 104. That's too much. Right? 4. So that's a 4-bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 4. So that's 96 plus 4 is 100. 0, 1. All right? Boy, that's not smart. So I wish we could write that out better. Let's write that out better so that it fits better. All right? Get that written out better. 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. And 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? Matt, does this look right? Andrew, does this look right? Got my students in here to correct me just in case it's wrong. All right, so there you go. There it is. 200, 168, 6, 101. And now we need the subnet mask. And that's pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. And zeros. Okay, so we've got the IP address on top, and beneath we've got the subnet mask, or the net mask, which is actually 255.255.255 zeros. So when the router gets these two numbers, right, the IP address and the net mask, what it does is the router takes them and ANDs them together. We call that process ANDing. Okay? It basically does a truth table and takes the truth table, which is Boolean logic, and in the truth table 0 is false and a 1 is true, right? 0 is false and a 1 is true, and it ANDs them together. So if A is true and B is true, C is true in the Boolean logic system, right? So 1 and 1 makes a 1. 1 and 1 makes a 1. 0 and 1, 0 is false. If A is false and B is true, C is false. And so we'd have a false, and we'd have a true here. 0 is false, and 1 is true. We have 0, 0. The answer C would be false. And the resulting for the network is 200. And then we do the same here, and we decide, a true and a true makes a true. A false and a true makes a false. A true, a false, a true, a false, false, false. And the network number is 200.168. And false, 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 true, true, false, and a 6. And then when we get to the all-important last octet, these are all falses here. So the result is going to be all zeros, because anything basically times 0, or in this case anything with a true or a false mixed with a false results in a false. So the network is 200.168.6.0. And that is the network, and that's how the router figures out from the IP address ANDing with the net mask how it finds the network.